They fought for glory, they fought for survival, they fought for entertainment. Welcome to the brutal, fascinating world of the Roman gladiators, the original action stars of the ancient world. But were all gladiators slaves? Did they really fight to the death? And what happened if you gave a thumbs down? Gladiators were fighters in ancient Rome who performed in front of massive crowds, often in arenas like the Colosseum, which could hold over 50,000 screaming fans. Think of it like the Super Bowl, but with more swords and way fewer rules. Fun fact: not all gladiators were slaves. While many were prisoners of war or criminals, some were actually volunteers who signed up for the fame, the fortune, or maybe just the flex. They trained in special schools called ludi, run by a lanista, basically a coach, manager, and hype man all in one. Gladiators even had stage names like Spiculus, who was so popular Emperor Nero gave him palaces. Gladiators weren't just random guys with swords. They were specialized warriors, each with their own fighting style, weapon loadout, and unique aesthetic. Think of it like ancient Rome's version of a combat class system, like Call of Duty, but with sandals and blood. Let's meet the main types. Murmillo, the tank. These guys were the heavyweights, bulky armor, big shields, and a short sword called a gladius. Their helmets had a distinctive fish-shaped crest. Why fish? Because the name murmillo comes from a Greek word for a type of fish. They used gladius, scutums, which is a large rectangular shield for weapons. As for armor, they used arm guard, shin guards, heavy helmet. Their fighting style was slow but strong, great for close combat. Next up is Thraex, Thracian, the agile striker. Inspired by warriors from Thrace, modern-day Bulgaria, Thraex gladiators were quick on their feet and fought with a curved sword called a sika, perfect for slashing around shields. For weapons, they used sika, also known as a curved sword, and parmula, also known as a small shield. For armor, they used a helmet with a griffin crest and protective greaves. For fighting style, they were very agile, tricky, and always looking for openings. Retiarius, the wild card. Okay, this one's crazy. Imagine showing up to a sword fight with a net. That's the Retiarius. No helmet, no shield, just a net, a trident, and nerves of steel. For weapons, they used a trident, a net, and a dagger. For armor, they had arm guards and shoulder protectors, also known as galeris. For fighting style, they were fast and unpredictable. They dodged, entangled their enemies, and stabbed when the chance came. Fun fact: audiences loved retiari because they were underdogs. They looked practically naked compared to other fighters, but if they pulled off a win, instant crowd favorite. Secutor, also known as the Retiarius hunter. The secutor, literally pursuer, was custom built to fight retiari. Their smooth helmet design prevented the net from catching, and their goal was to close the distance fast and take the net guy down. For weapons, they used sword, large shield, much like a lot of other gladiators. For armor, they used a streamlined helmet with small eye holes to avoid netting from the retiarius. Their fighting style was aggressive, high-pressure melee to close the distance fast. There's a lot more, but here is some bonus types you might not know. Democharis, fought with two swords like a dual-wielding badass. Venator, specialized in hunting animals. Think Bear Grylls meets the Hunger Games. Asidarius, fought from a chariot, yes, a moving one. And Abatai, fought blindfolded, literally, no eye holes, no joke. Gladiators didn't choose their type. They were assigned based on body type, personality, and potential. It's like getting sorted into a house at Hogwarts, except one of them means you're gonna fight a tiger with a fork. Some gladiators even had signature moves, kinda like WWE finishers. The crowd would cheer if they recognized their favorite fighter's go-to finisher. Each gladiator was more than just muscle and metal. They were living, breathing characters in the greatest show of the ancient world. A Murmillo charging like a tank. A Retiarius dancing in and out of danger. A Thraex, eyes sharp, blade curved like a crescent moon. This wasn't mindless violence. This was strategy, performance, and identity. The Roman audience didn't just want blood, they wanted story. Heroes, villains, underdogs. Every fight was a drama, every arena a stage, and behind every swing of the sword, every roar of the crowd, there was a narrative. Some gladiators were so popular they had merch. Archaeologists have found souvenir oil lamps, figurines, even wall paintings of fan-favorite fighters. The arena wasn't just about survival, it was about spectacle. Gladiators were part warrior, part celebrity, part legend. And for the crowd in the stands, it didn't matter where the fighter came from. What mattered was how they fought, and how they fell. But what was it like to actually be in the arena? What did a day of games look like, from sunrise to final showdown? Dawn in Rome. The streets buzz. Vendors set up shop. Nobles in white togas glide past citizens, slaves, and soldiers. Everyone heading in the same direction, the Colosseum. The Flavian Amphitheater, better known today as the Colosseum, could hold more than 50,000 people. Seating was by status. Senators and emperors in the front, commoners and women way up top. But no matter where you sat, you came for one thing: the games. The day started with venations, animal hunts. Wild beasts from across the empire were brought in. Lions, tigers, elephants, crocodiles. Sometimes it was trained hunters called venatori. Other times it was condemned criminals, thrown in unarmed, to be torn apart for the crowd's amusement. Fun fact, over the Colosseum's first 100 days of opening, over 9,000 animals were killed. It was like the world's bloodiest zoo exhibit. By midday, things took a darker turn. This was when executions took place, but not just any executions. These were theatrical. Criminals were dressed as mythological figures, like Orpheus, Icarus, Hercules, and forced to reenact their own deaths, often in horrific ways. Fun fact: one unlucky guy was cast as Prometheus. They chained him up and released a real eagle to peck at his liver. Historically accurate, but also seriously messed up. Afternoon, the gladiator fights. Then came the main event, the gladiators. By now, the sun was high, the arena was hot, and the crowd was hungry for action. Fighters were announced like rock stars. The matchups were carefully chosen. Different classes, different weapons, different stories. Some fights ended quickly, others were long, strategic duels. If one gladiator was seriously wounded, they could raise a finger, missio, to ask for mercy. Then the crowd, and ultimately the emperor, decided their fate. And for those that are interested, despite what movies say, thumbs down didn't mean death. Most likely, it was thumbs up equals sword drawn equals kill. And if the crowd loved you, you might walk out alive. For now. By sundown, the arena floor was a ruin of sand and blood. The survivors returned to their barracks. The losers? Well, they became part of the legend. And the Roman crowd? They went home satisfied, entertained, distracted, just as the emperors intended. But who were these men beneath the helmets? What kind of life waited for a gladiator beyond the sand and steel? And could any of them ever walk free? Next, we go behind the scenes, to the life of a gladiator. When they weren't fighting, gladiators lived in barracks, trained daily, and, get this, they were often celebrities. Fun fact number 4. Women loved gladiators. Graffiti on Pompeii's walls literally called one fighter the delight of all the girls. Some even had groupies or were gifted luxurious items by rich admirers. So yeah, it was kind of like being an influencer, if influencers had swords. And if a gladiator survived enough battles, he could win freedom, symbolized by a wooden sword called a rudis. For many, that was the ultimate prize. Thanks for stepping into the arena with us. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more epic stories from history's wild side. Got a favorite gladiator type? Or would you survive the Colosseum? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We read every one. Until next time, stay sharp, stay curious, and may your thumbs always point up.